But anyway.
Invented horses.
Good morning and welcome to the Pinellas County Tourist Development Council meeting of August 21st, 2019. I'll start with introductions.
Sure. Trisha Rodriguez, good morning. The Clearwater Ferry and the Tropics Boat Tours.
Doreen Moore, good morning. TRS Travel Resort Services.
Good morning, Charlie Gertis, City of St. Petersburg.
Good morning, Michael Azas, County Attorney's Office.
Good morning, Karen Seal, Chair of the Pinellas County Commission.
Good morning, Paul Sacco, Interim President CEO, Visit St. Pete Clearwater.
Good morning, Russ Kimball, Sheraton Sand Key, Clearwater Beach.
Good morning, Julie Ward-Bajolski, Mayor of the great city of Dunedin and Representative to the Mayor's Council.
Chuck Prather, the Birchwood, St. Petersburg.
Tony Satterfield, Alden Suite, St. Pete Beach.
Okay, great. I actually don't have any comments other than you'll see at the bottom of your agenda. At the September 18th meeting, we will be having subcommittee meetings after the TDC meeting. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. We felt that because today we have the capital project funding program and because the budget basically is done at the present time, that September will allow us to start a good refresh and move forward with some of the questions that were posed by you all at the budget meeting and other meetings. So with that, we'll have an approval of the TDC minutes of July 17th, 2019.
So moved.
Approval. Second.
Okay. Motion by Charlie, second by Russ Kimball. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now we'll move on to public comments, and we have a special guest with us here today.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. My name is John David White. I'm with Brighter Future Florida. And you may know that I'm part of a team of folks that have been working on the Circle of Heroes at Veterans Reef. This is the first in the nation underwater memorial for our veterans that is diveable. And it has been pretty remarkable, the response. We dedicated the memorial on August 5th. It's now open to the public. We have a packet in front of you to provide some highlights of the success we've had, but I just wanted to draw your attention to a couple quick items. One is, we have this software system that estimates the amount of media coverage that we got and translates it into advertising. And our software tells us that from the earned media that we garnered from the dedication on August 5th, we've received $350 million worth of free advertising for our area. And 237 million people have viewed the story of the Circle of Heroes in the Clearwater Dunedin area across the country. You can see CNN, ABC News, local affiliates from all over the country picked it up and ran it in their local markets from Vermont to Chicago to California. That was very intentional. We had a communications team with a sophisticated effort. You may know Preston Rudy on our team did a great job, but we took underwater video in advance. We took pictures. We made it available to the media. I think this is important for telling our story and driving tourism to our area. We know anecdotally, just from people contacting us, that this is driving trips to our area, bed tax dollars, and tourism to come in and dive this destination. We're continuing to work with the CVB on making sure that this continues. We've got a Facebook page that organically has over 1,000 users, and one post alone reached 56,000 people from all over the country. So I'll come back and make a formal presentation if the council would prefer on our next steps, but I just wanted to formally update you on our progress, remarkable success. We've ended phase 1, which is putting the first 12 statues down. Now we're going to go about the final 12 and making sure that we raise money and create and finish the dive destination. We're also going to be kind of rolling it out to continue on the media coverage. We're going to roll it out 2 or 3 at a time from here on out, so we continue the momentum and create a lot of interest in the destination. So thank you very much.
And I actually was there on August the 5th, and I have never seen so much media attend and come on the boat. It's rare these days that TV stations and written media sources come to cover such an event, and it was pretty overwhelming. And the media attention afterwards and the editorial in the Tampa Bay Times, it was really awesome. So I congratulate you, and tell us how much you need to raise.
So we're estimating the second phase is about $300,000. So the interesting part of the second phase is these are all custom statutes. So we have the Coast Guard, for example, contacted us, and they'd like to get a coastie made from the Blackthorn incident. So it was a Coast Guard member that died in the Blackthorn. They've already commissioned a statute. So these are all going to be in the second phase, recognizable people. We've had some interest from Norman Schwarzkopf's widow doing one in his likeness. A Tuskegee Airman. We've talked about potentially the Afghani horse soldier. So very iconic scenes that will make this destination recognizable, similar to other dive destinations around the world.
Great.
All right.
Julie?
I just wanted to add for those who may not be divers, I'm not, but my entire family is. Traveling on dive destinations is a big deal when you're a diver, and you will spend your money. It's like if you're a golfer, you'll go all over the world to go to the greatest golf courses. Dive destinations is a big deal from a traveling perspective, and the veterans thing is also a big deal. So tying those two things together, it is a big deal, and I understand why the press is really covering it, and I think it's only going to get bigger. So great job.
Thank you. I time my remarks for 3 minutes, so I could talk for an hour for it, but we are partnering with veterans organizations to do just that, bring veterans from across the country down, giving them a free ride out there, equipment, everything that would be required for a destination. So we're continuing those relationships. We're going to work with CVB to make sure that this is really important for our local tourism economy.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yes, Russ.
If I could, either contact me or through the CVB, 5th, 6th, and 7th, Sunday to Wednesday, is we're hosting the Medal of Honor winners.
Right.
There's about 40, we expect 40, 45 of them. And we're doing up different items. And that would be a great one to have, that if you would invite somebody in your organization, say, if there's a diver or two that want to go out and dive, here's what we have, and host them for the day.
No, I'm on the board of that event, and
So-
we talked about this yesterday, is
Good.
making this as one of the activities that
That'd be
those
great.
folks can do while they're here. So we'll definitely coordinate with you.
Thank you.
All right.
Great. Okay, thank you. Are there any other members of the public who'd like to comment at this point? Okay, very good. Then we'll move on to County Attorney Report. Michael?
I have nothing this morning, Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay. Presentations. We're very pleased to have Chris Minor here from the Executive Vice President of Tampa International Airport.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, members of the TDC. As
You're not going
Commissioner
to blow
said-
anything up here, are you?
It's usually a really bad thing when you talk about bombs at an airport. But yeah, for those that saw the news this week, we demolished the old Red Side rental car structure. And I was there at 2 o'clock in the morning when they did that. It was a very exciting event, but that creates the capacity for us to implement
That's awesome.
the rest of our program. We'll talk about that in the presentation.
Just couldn't help making a wisecrack.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. We've got a lot to get to, so if it's all right, I'll just dive right in. Just by way of background, I'm with Tampa International Airport, which is owned and operated by the Hillsborough County Aviation Authority. We're an independent special district of the state of Florida. In addition to Tampa International Airport, we own and operate 3 general aviation airports as well. And you can see we've got 4 airsides, 58 gates. Not a lot of people know this. We've got 4 miles of baggage conveyors that wind their way through Tampa International Airport. And so we're really proud of the fact that when you fly, you get your bag when you're going where you're going. Our enabling legislation is very clear. The policy of the state is to promote the development of commerce and tourism, to secure to the people of this state the benefits of those activities conducted in the state. And I am just really proud to be on the program with Dana Young from Visit Florida this morning. the work that she and her team, as well as all of you from Visit St. Pete Clearwater, are doing alongside our state's airports is really booming our tourism economy, and it benefits from all of our teamwork. Our economic impact, you can see we've got nearly 11,000 people that are working at the airport, and our economic impact is about $14.5 billion annually. That's almost doubled just in the last 5 years alone. That's according to the Florida Department of Transportation. But it's because of the increase in the number of flights and destinations that we're serving and the people that are coming into our community. Also, just want to mention sustainability for us at Tampa International Airport is very important. You can see the range of our initiatives that also include the 2 megawatt solar array that's on top of our economy parking garage that produces all of the power necessary to fuel our SkyConnect train that serves the new rental car station at the airport. Okay, into the meat of it with air service. Today we are now serving, you can see 2018 was 21 million passengers. We're on target to finish this year at 22.3 million passengers, with 23 million passengers expected in 2021. Really dramatic growth. This is our route map, and so I realize the dots on there may be kind of hard to see. We're very proud of the fact that over the last 8 years, we've been able to really dramatically grow service to the west coast of the United States. These are tourists primarily that in the past have been going to Hawaii, maybe going to Mexico. Now we've got them coming and staying at our beautiful beaches. We have nonstop flights, as you can see, to Seattle and San Francisco. This year, both of those markets had up to double daily, nonstop flights on Alaska Airlines and United, respectively. Los Angeles continues to thrive with Delta, daily nonstop, as well as Southwest, who also has flights to Los Angeles and San Diego. The other really growth area for us is our international market, and I'll turn to that now. In front of you is the list of markets that we've added since 2010. In London, we're now at daily nonstop flights on British Airways. That's a Boeing 777, as well as competition that's provided by Norwegian that's in that market as well. They fly with a 787 up to 3 times a week during the year. Our Cuba flights make us the second largest gateway to Cuba in the United States, behind Miami, and Southwest Airlines continues to operate those with daily flights. Our Zurich, Switzerland flight, operated by Edelweiss, has been thriving, and that, of course, is a complement to Lufthansa, who flies nonstop to Germany. Our nonstop flights to Germany on Lufthansa actually this winter are going to be operating 6 times a week. That's a 50% increase over last year when we only had 4 flights a week, and so Europe is very popular this season. Our Panama flights with Copa Airlines are thriving. They've been operating since 2013. You can see the rest, and of course, I want to talk about Amsterdam. And Madam Chair, we really appreciated you coming with us on the inaugural flight. The photo that you have in front of you shows Commissioner Seal standing in front of the CEO of KLM Airlines. That's Peter Elbers. And I have to tell you that the support that this community poured into the inauguration of that flight was really tremendous. We had representatives from our Chambers of Commerce, Economic Development Corporations, and our Convention Visitors Bureaus. The flight is off to a very solid start. In fact, operating at about an 85% load factor for the first full months of operation this summer. And our conversations with Delta, both from a sales standpoint and a network planning standpoint, tell us that we're on very, very solid track for a successful next season. So we're already looking forward to the flight's relaunch next spring. I want to thank specifically Visit St. Pete Clearwater, because the funding that you have provided to supplement the marketing funds that the airport put on the table are currently being spent in the market over around Amsterdam and all across the Netherlands to help raise awareness of the flight. And that's really driving the advanced bookings for September and October to make sure that this first season has a very strong finish and a very strong start. Overall, our international...
Can I ask a question on that?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
We know that we originally tried to go year-round,
Yes.
and they changed it to a break and then go back.
Yes.
Are all the efforts in place to help try and keep that? So next year is the plan. Is there a plan, or can we do any encouragement, marketing-wise, to make it year-round at that point?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure, I think, on us to do that. Is there anything more you recommend or that we should be doing or could do?
I appreciate the question. Thank you, Mr. Kimple. So, yes, originally Delta had announced that they would be coming into the market with a year-round service. And then after that announcement was made is when you saw Lufthansa crank up the frequency that they would be operating, as well as you had the Norwegian flights that are adding that additional capacity. And so at the time that they made the decision to reduce, we were looking at about a 30% year-over-year increase in seat capacity from our region to Europe. And so what Delta did is they just took the proactive approach to say, we would rather serve the market during the peak period and have that be very successful and economically profitable, and then just suspend our nonstop flights during the winter period where we would expect to take a loss, so that when we come back the next season, we'll start from a position of strength. And with 2 seasons of service, that would put us in a stronger position to be able to carry the flight year-round. As you know, I believe we're in constant conversations with both the sales team and the network planning team, as well as the Delta and KLM colleagues over in Europe to support the flight. Visit St. Pete Clearwater has put $70,000 into the marketing budget for this year as well as next year, and that's in addition to the millions of dollars that Tampa International Airport has put on the table to support the flight. So I think that all of the efforts are in place, and I really do appreciate your willingness to support the flight.
I hope you'd ask us if there's more efforts need to be done, either financially or some other way, for that second one, because I think that's the one we're all concerned about, and it's great to have that Amsterdam flight.
Thank you.
It is, and incidentally, my husband and son just took a flight, and it was completely full.
Yes.
So,
That's always a good sign.
I know. And I learned so much going on this trip, and I'm not sure everyone realizes that Amsterdam is the 3rd largest airport in Europe, and how many connections they have going all over Europe. And also, they literally had to trade another flight to take ours. And so they have a cap as to the number of planes that can come and go from the airport. And so it's a big deal that we were, and I congratulate you all for all your efforts in landing this Amsterdam connection.
Well, thank you. And we couldn't have done it without Visit St. Pete Clearwater, who literally is at the table with us when we're making our presentations to the airlines. It makes all the difference in the world. The addition of Delta now gives us 3-way network competition with One World Alliance, primarily anchored by British Airways and American Airlines, Star Alliance, that's Lufthansa and United, and now SkyTeam, which is Delta, operating this flight into to their KLM hub. So that's really fantastic. The slide in front of you shows that since 2010, our international nonstop passengers traffic is up actually 157%.
Wow.
We did an economic impact assessment from 2012 to 2018 that's worth $1.6 billion to our regional economy and adds about 18,000 jobs. So we're very, very proud of that teamwork. The photo on the top there is something that you can see at Tampa International Airport several times a week. That's 3 international wide bodies on the ground simultaneously delivering those tourists to our region. In terms of where we're focusing our efforts, we're in partnership with the CVBs, with the Chambers of Commerce and the Economic Development Agencies as well. For Latin America, we're pursuing nonstop flights to Bogota, Mexico City, and Lima. Each of those are tremendous airline hubs that would provide beyond connectivity to the rest of Latin America and be able to bring visitors from all throughout the region. And then now that we have Amsterdam, our remaining targets for Europe are Manchester, which is our largest unserved city in Europe, more than 80 passengers a day each way traveling today between the Tampa Bay region and Manchester. And then Dublin, which is the home to Aer Lingus and would provide a great connecting hub to the rest of continental Europe in partnership with the International Airlines Group. Further to my thanks to Visit St. Pete Clearwater, just wanted to show you these 2 very quick pictures that are from just the last couple of months of our operations. On your left, you can see Gemma Pascal is second from the right. She is your in-market representative for the United Kingdom. I'm very delighted for her that she's out on maternity leave at the moment. But when we sit down with airlines to talk about the performance of their flights, it's incredibly helpful to be able to have your in-market representatives with us to talk about the efforts that you're undertaking as a destination to market our region, and for the airline to know that they're not in it alone. It's not just the dollars that you commit to support their marketing efforts, but it's your sweat equity that's helping to fill that flight. On the right, this is actually, I believe, just last week. We were down there with Andrea Gabel from your team here, and she is your market representative for Latin America. So as a native Brazilian from Recife, to have her there speaking about all of your in-market efforts in our meeting with Azul Airlines about nonstop flights potentially coming in from Sao Paulo, very, very helpful. That's her right up front in the gold. and she did a magnificent job presenting for you at the reception that you co-sponsored with Visit Tampa Bay at the Ambassador's Residence. And so again, just a tremendous thank you for that. Let me turn now to our master plan, and we mentioned before the fact that business is booming at the airport. This is the original master plan forecast that we said, how is our passenger traffic going to evolve over time? And what you can see is we are exactly where we thought we were going to be. And so thank goodness that we have moved forward with deliberate haste to build our facilities. This is a three-phase program. The first one we have completed. We delivered it on time and within 1% of our budget. So very, very proud of that. That was the new rental car center, the automated people mover system, and then a 50,000 square foot expansion of our main terminal, as well as the replacement of every restaurant, bar, and shop at Tampa International Airport. With all of those improvements complete, we are continuing to win awards and recognition around the world. And so we're very proud of the gateway we provide to the west coast of Florida. Now we're moving into phase 2 that has 2 main projects that I'll show you more detail about. And then of course phase 3 would be ultimately the expansion of our terminal facilities. I just want to mention that we have an incredible team led by our CEO, Joe Lopano. This is a picture of our executive and leadership team. The work that they are doing every single day to deliver outstanding service to our visitors is really to be commended. The photo here is of a really innovative product that we are offering at the airport. This is in the rental car center. When a family comes out and they stay at your beautiful beaches here in Pinellas County, and then they return their car to our rental car center, they come up the escalator, and before they get on the train to come over and get on their flight, they're able to approach these kiosks, check in for their flight, and then unload the car seat and all of their checked bags so that they don't have to wrestle those onto the train with them. We thought originally that this was going to accommodate about 800 bags a day. We're easily doing 4 times that amount.
Wow.
It's just been very, very popular, and right now we are the only airport in the country that offers this level of service. So we've got airports from all across the country that are reaching out saying, hey, we'd like to learn more about that. This is just another view of that rental car center. We now have every single rental car agency available on site, and that's brought price competition and a much, much better level of service to the people who are arriving and looking to start their vacations. Of course, that's linked with our SkyConnect train. That has been in operation since last Valentine's Day and has been very, very reliable and provided an extraordinarily high level of service. Now, Mr. Kimball, you'll remember what the airport looked like in 1971. That is the Airside E.
I remember that.
Back in the day, we didn't really have any need for seating. We didn't have a lot of pickup and drop off. We were a much less busy airport. But fast forward to today, and that's what we look like with our brand new, reconditioned, and totally renovated airside shuttle stations, as well as in the back you can see our food court in the main terminal area. Very, very popular. Another Back to the Future shot. This is the shuttle originally to Airside E, and you can see that beautiful rock garden that used to exist out there. Those are the very first automated people movers ever used at an airport anywhere in the world, originally from Westinghouse. But fast forward to today, and that's actually a beautiful outdoor seating area where passengers can enjoy a breath of fresh air before they go and get on their new nonstop flight. I want to take just a moment to tell you that we're very pleased with our ability to expand as part of that rental car center, the gateway for public transportation. And so the Pasco County bus service that comes in actually every day from Largo is doing very, very well. In fact, we were just down at the rental car center last week, saw a young woman taking her bag. We just asked, where are you going? She says, I'm going to the beaches. And she's there to use the public transportation. So fun to see that doing really, really well. But that's taken 3.8 million cars off of our airport roads, the ability to have that service down there, and we're actually already expanding this curbside due to the demand of public transportation. So thank you very much. Master Plan Phase 2, 2 major projects. One is a curbside expansion, the other is the Sky Center development. The curbside expansion will double the number of pickup and drop-off lanes at the airport. Today, at the first level, you've got the baggage claim, and so that's where you pick up your arriving passengers. On the second level is where you would drop off for the ticket counters. But what we're finding is about 80% of our passengers are checking in on their phones or at home before they come to the airport. And most passengers today, because they don't want to pay a bag fee or they just want to have certainty when they arrive at their destination, aren't checking bags. And so when you combine that with the fact that we've got Uber and Lyft who are dramatically increasing demand for curbside pickup and drop-off, the ability for us to expand our curbsides puts us in a unique position among airports in the United States. And so this is set to be complete. The first side, on the blue side, will be complete at the end of 2021, and then the red side expansion is set to be complete in about 2023 to 2024. This is just a quick view of what the vertical circulation core is, what we call it. When you pull in, this would be at the ticketing level. So of course there's no ticketing counters because these are express lanes. You've already checked in on your phone. So you just get dropped off, go right up that escalator or elevator, and then you can go straight to the shuttle to take you to your gate. Very, very high level of service. And then the Sky Center is in the south part of the airport. And if you've come into the airport recently, as you're coming over that skyway, just after looking at the Visit St. Pete Clearwater billboard, thank you very much for your business, you'll see that we have our new atrium that's coming out of the ground, going vertical. And so that is located directly across from the Consolidated Rental Car Center, right here. That's this building. And then we're looking at this fall groundbreaking on our new office building. That'll be a 9-story office tower. The airport is going to move the majority of its staff into that facility so that we can demolish a building that's in the way of our curbside expansion in the north. But that's going to leave quite a bit of expansion opportunity for other companies that'll be able to lease space in that building. And just imagine the convenience, actually, of being able to come in and park your car, maybe take a conference call in the morning and then hop on the shuttle, get on a plane, take your flight up to Washington, D.C. You've got a lunch meeting, turn around, fly home. You didn't even have to move your car. Super, super convenient. Overall, the building will have about 270,000 square feet, and it's going to have first-in-class amenities, fitness center, dining facilities, and plenty of outdoor spaces. So it'll be just really, really beautiful. The photo there is a picture of the interior of the atrium building that's under construction right now. And that's how people that are dropped off at our new commercial curbside will be able to come up, go across the moving walkway, and get on the train to the terminal. That's a view of the office building on the right and the atrium over to its left. You can also see we're planning to landscape the top of that atrium space. That'll be a public space that people can come out and enjoy beautiful panoramic views of Tampa Bay and the airfield. So that'll just be really fantastic. This just zooms in to show you that commercial curbside where passengers would have one more option for picking up and dropping off. All of this will be complete just in the next 12 months, and then that'll give us some breathing room as we take until 2024 to deliver all of the full curbside expansion at the main terminal. Also want to share with you that there's going to be tremendous walking and biking trails that will be a part of that SkyConnect area. And then what you can see in the green is the bike trail that comes across the Courtney Campbell Causeway. What's shown in yellow is what City of Tampa is improving right now along O'Brien Street, and then what's in magenta there is what the airport is producing. But as a proud Pinellas County resident, I'm looking forward to being able to commute on my bicycle over to Tampa International Airport, and so that's going to be really fantastic to finally have that link. And then ultimately, the third phase of our master plan is to expand our gate capacity. We've been working very closely with our airlines over the last year to revalidate our master plan, to make sure that the demand is coming in as we had expected, and also to make sure that this is the right strategy for us to be able to grow our capacity. And so ultimately, we will be delivering a 16-gate airside, and every single gate will be both international and domestic capable, will give us total flexibility to be able to serve the market. And right now, we're on target to try to deliver that in about the 2024 timeframe. These are some views of what the interior space could look like. We're anticipating that the Customs and Border Protection facilities would actually be on the top floor. Right now, almost every airport in the country, you arrive as an international passenger, you've been on that plane for 12 hours, and we put you in a basement. And that's really not a very nice level of service. Here, be on the third floor, beautiful panoramic views, you see palm trees in the bay, and it'll be really quite spectacular. And then, Madam Chair, if I can, just one more thing to share with you is an update on our Tampa International Airport Ambassador Program. I had the privilege of standing this program up after I got here almost 9 years ago. But Visit St. Pete Clearwater has been an incredible supporter of this program. You can see we've got 230 active volunteers that give of their time to staff 6 stations throughout the airport, one in each of our baggage claims, one at the international arrivals area, and one over at the rental car center. And those volunteers have given about 19 full-time staff positions. That's the equivalent of the time that they've donated. You can see already this year to date, more than 32,000 guests that they've assisted, and they've distributed more than 20,000 visitor guides to help people know what it is that they need to do when they arrive here. I did want to highlight, Linda McDonough is a Pinellas County resident, and she's already donated nearly 2,000 hours to this program. So thank you so much to the people of Pinellas County for supporting this program. The support that Visit St. Pete Clearwater has put into this has just been really tremendous. Already this year we've had 3 special training sessions for the volunteers so that they know what's happening with Pinellas County tourism. You do those at your Visit St. Pete Clearwater offices, as well as already we've had 2 familiarization tours. The photo you can see is obviously Pier 60. We also had a recent visit to the Dali Museum. And that's just so beneficial because that way the people that are volunteering in this program are able to speak of experience when they go and welcome people to our community. As well as appreciation for our annual event, we fund a big dinner to say thank you to all of the volunteers, and your Visit St. Pete Clearwater team has been very helpful, not only in supporting that, but also working with area hotels and attractions to pull in things that we can donate and give away to the volunteers as an expression of thanks. And that's everything that I have to say. Thank you so much.
Exciting times. Congratulations. What a great presentation. Can't wait to see the next phases come out of the ground. So
Thank you.
Be open. Any questions?
Great. Thank you.
Thank you. We, is Dana? Okay, welcome. We are very privileged to have Dana Young, who is the new president and CEO for Visit Florida. And we know you were at a breakfast this morning, and thank you for making it here to give us a presentation.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members, for having me here today. My first time speaking to this group and my first time speaking in this room. So a pleasure to be here. And Chris Minner, that was a great, you're still here. That was such a great presentation. As I know many of you travel in and out of that airport, I travel in and out of it all the time. And every time I land back in Tampa, it's like a sigh of relief because it's such a great experience. So you guys are doing a great job over there. Give Joe Lopano my regards. And we do have a tremendous synergy with what Tampa Airport is doing because as they're working to attract international flights to, I think, Mexico City and Brazil, Bogota, Colombia, where we've got a significant campaign going on in Colombia. We are working to put, as they say, butts in seats. So hopefully we will continue to work together. I am the president and CEO of Visit Florida, and I'm sure most of you know what we do, but in a nutshell, we market the state of Florida throughout the United States, outside the state, and internationally. So we are promoting Florida tourism around the globe to ensure that our industry, which is critical to our economy, stays healthy and continues to support the jobs and the tax revenue that it produces. In 2018, we had an all-time record, 8th record year in a row of visitation. 127 million people came to the state of Florida. To put that in perspective, since 2009, tourism to Florida or visitation to Florida has increased by 57%. That is an absolutely huge number. And you may have seen last week, Governor Ron DeSantis announced that we had a second record quarter in 2019. We had just under 70 million travelers come to Florida in the first 6 months. So when you look at what that could mean, projecting it out, things are looking good for the Sunshine State. And just like here in Pinellas County, Florida is a very diverse state with a very diverse set of experiences that are available to visitors. And while we are a known leader in travel and tourism, and our brand is very strong, we are constantly working to evolve our brand and our messaging to reflect the diverse and evolving nature of the people that are coming to visit us. As you can see from the ads that are oh, there we go. I'm like, where is the screen? From our ads, this is the sort of the brand refresh. This is the newer, updated look of Visit Florida. We have diversified our message. We have diversified our ad content, and we've targeted new audience segments. And the whole idea is to stay relevant to the traveling public, stay top of mind, and certainly celebrate the diversity of not only the people that visit here, but frankly the people that live here, like us. For example, last year, this is one of my big accomplishments that I like to talk about. We launched our first Adventure Seekers campaign. And while all of us realize that there's a lot to do in Florida, a lot of people think of Florida and they think beaches and Disney World. And so our approach was to show people that if they've been to the beach, which we want them to continue to do, and if they've been to Disney, which we want them to continue to do, there are other things that they can also do here in Florida, and hopefully they will expand their length of stay and, the bottom line, spend a lot more money here. So we have launched this Adventure Seekers campaign to educate travelers about our outdoor offerings. And I want to show you a video that we did. Visit Florida shot and promoted some of the state's high-flying outdoor adventures with Matador Network, which is the largest independent travel publisher. And this video includes kiteboarding in Pinellas County, which every time I go over the Skyway, I'm kind of terrified to see what people are doing on those kiteboards, but it's very cool. And this is our most recent adventure campaign. Yeah, I want to go there too. And so this adventure campaign, we had never done anything like it. It launched in 2018. That segment had been completely flat. Like, we weren't seeing adventure travelers here. Amazingly, after that wrapped up, and we're still tracking the results, we saw a 27% increase in adventure-seeking travel to Florida. So marketing works, and clearly that is a great example of how it works, and it's drawing people to Pinellas County as well as to a lot of the rural areas of our state, like Crystal River, to the Springs, and to a lot of other areas that people might not think about if they think of Florida. Tourism, as you know, has a significant impact on our state economy, especially here in the Tampa Bay area. Tourism is our state's top economic driver. 1 in every 6 Florida jobs is supported by visitor spending. And each year, our calculations show that every single family in the state of Florida saves $1,500 plus that they would have to pay, otherwise pay in taxes, because we have visitors that come and pick up the tab for us. So that's a pretty great thing. The tourism industry pumps $86 billion plus into our state economy every year. That is $3 billion in actual tax revenue going into the state general fund. And what does that mean? That means that we have more money to spend on things that are important, certainly to me, probably to you, environmental protection, infrastructure, schools, things that are very, very important here in our state. As you can see from the slide that's up on the screen, Visit Florida has more than 750 engaged partners right here in the Tampa Bay region. And these are companies and destination marketing organizations that partner with us, and we help them by providing extensive benefits like public relations, like international and domestic marketing activities, like advertising opportunities. And Visit St. Pete Clearwater is a great partner with us. We have a significant amount of interaction with you all to do international marketing and campaigns domestically as well. And I will tell you that it seems like wherever I travel, all I see is Welcome St. Pete Clearwater. And I live in Tampa, and I was just with Santiago Corrado this morning, and I'm like, look, dude, they're everywhere. They're in Miami, they're in Tampa. We got to step up. So you guys are doing a great job getting your messaging out there, and the creative is really nice. The beach pictures and all of that, I really like it. And so we are working with partners, and the smallest partners. Yesterday I was in Crystal River doing a presentation, and there was a guy that owns a paddleboard company and a boat rental company, and he is an active partner with Visit Florida and is actually coming to our governor's conference, which I'll talk about a little later. And so we go from the paddleboard guy all the way up to some of the largest theme parks. We work with some of the largest DMOs in the state, like Visit St. Pete Clearwater, Greater Fort Lauderdale, Tampa Bay. We also have teeny tiny little places like Washington County, where they might have one spring, and we're helping them leverage their very small marketing budget to help let people know that they have something to offer as well. Because of the hard work that you all have done and area businesses here in the Tampa Bay region, tourism supports 140,000 jobs just in this area. The average, I can never say this, the average daily rate for lodging has increased more than 21% since 2014. 12.2% increase in the number of rooms sold, and this is the big nut. Since 2014, bed tax revenues have increased 59%. So that is significant for you all because that is your budget. And so let's move on to our vision. Visit Florida's vision is to make Florida the #1 travel destination in the world. And while that's a lofty goal, I think it is achievable. And one of the ways that we are looking to do this is by prioritizing our resources, focusing only on programs that maximize impact and create added value for travelers and our industry partners. Visit Florida is critical to the tourism industry and the taxpayers we serve through the utilization of media with lower costs, finding additional ways to increase the value of advertisements, and helping our partners to leverage every dollar to the maximum extent so that we can all, a rising tide raises all ships, so we can all help each other. What is our strategy for making Florida the #1 destination? Well, by way of a little bit of background, in 2018, 14.3 million international visitors accounted for 11% of Florida's visitor volume. And while there has been a decline nationally in international travel, Florida actually has seen a rebound from markets, and we saw our international market share increase from about 22% to right around 24%, while other states like Hawaii, Nevada, New York saw a corresponding decrease, zero-sum game. So their loss is our gain. We like it. We're going to keep working on that. The primary markets where we get visitors from are on the slide, but we are also watching Australia, Spain, the Netherlands, India, Israel, and others. Domestically, we target 5 key audience segments for our marketing. These speak to the type of vacation people are seeking. You saw the adventure seekers. That is something we're going to be doing again. We also have experience seekers, winter sun seekers. You kind of have it all here because you've got all of the culture, and you've got the adventure, and you've got the winter sun seekers, the families, and then last minute travelers, which can easily get a flight through St. Pete Clearwater or Tampa Airport. I want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that we're doing together with Pinellas County and some of the opportunities that you can take advantage of this year. First, last year, St. Pete Clearwater, Visit St. Pete Clearwater participated in our new Google DMO program. And this allowed participating destination marketing organizations to improve the visibility of their destination related content on Google. So it's it's an analysis that Google does to look at the content that is on the site, make sure it is relaying the message that you want it to relay, to make sure that the messaging is consistent and so forth. This year, we're offering phase 2 of this program, and it is only open to those who participated the first time. So you all will be involved in that, and it will include 2 new audits of content, further activations, and ongoing training and support to maintain the momentum of this exercise in Google's ecosystem. Second of all, we are offering a new co-op program to help businesses in your area better understand how travelers are seeing them as they're searching for them on the web. And these opportunities and other opportunities in cooperative advertising, public relations, international, and more can be found on our website. If you want to get more information, it's visitflorida.org, and it's under Marketing Planner, and that lists pretty much everything that we're doing. Third, although some of you may already know this, I'm excited to share that Pinellas County will be featured in our upcoming Experience campaign. We are currently working on custom content pieces with Matador, who is the producer of the adventure video that I showed you for this Experience campaign, and St. Pete will be participating. This is the big part, at no cost to you, which is great. And in case you don't know, the experiential traveler are people that want to experience a destination like a local. So downtown St. Petersburg is perfect for this. It's the cuisine, it's the craft beer, it's the distilleries, it's the cultural assets, and all the things that the Rays baseball, all the things that we do here, they want to experience that. So we're going to be highlighting your area, and I think it's going to be very exciting. We're going to be looking at 5 destinations and feature 1 influencer, local influencer per destination. So in closing, I'd like to talk to you about what's next for Visit Florida. We have committee meetings starting in September. And we are very optimistic. I am very optimistic that Visit Florida will be reauthorized for a meaningful period. This year we only got 1 year, and appropriately funded. We have 2 exciting events coming up. One is the Florida Governors Conference on Tourism. It's in Boca Raton, September 4th through 6th. Registration is still open. We've invited many legislators to come, and many are coming. And I think that is a great opportunity for you all to interact with other members of the tourism industry. It allows the industry to come together, share best practices, hear from some great speakers, participate in some really, really great breakout sessions. And for anyone interested, the registration is at FloridaTourismConference.com. And then also for the calendar, January 22nd, 2020 is Florida Tourism Day at the Capitol. That is an event that allows the industry from all over the state to come together in Tallahassee. You don't have to do anything but show up. We provide all of the materials, all of the advocacy, and we handle all the logistics. So please come. You probably will also be asked to come for your Pinellas County days. Maybe they'll be coincide and be convenient, but we would love to see you there, and I will be there leading as many people as I can possibly lead to the Capitol, and be advocating with you. We are excited to continue partnering with Visit St. Pete Clearwater. You guys have really been leaders in the marketing of your destination. People talk about the content and the quality of your ads and the creativity that you've shown over the years. And I'm just excited to continue to work with you all to create a continued bright future for the state of tourism in the state of Florida. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. Thank you.
Dana, thanks so much for what you do, and we certainly understand how important Visit Florida is and all the trials and tribulations that they have gone through over the last few years. Maybe you could expand on, I think the haircut we took this year was $26 million. I'm glad to hear that in the future we may get extended out for more than 1 year, but how has that impacted Visit Florida, and is there any area that you're concerned about because of that cut?
That's a great question. Thank you. Yes, we received a 33% funding cut from the legislature last year. It was $26 million. $50 million is what we have left, and frankly, $50 million is a lot of money. I was hired by the governor to do a job, and that job is to run this organization as efficiently and well as possible to preserve the mission of Visit Florida, which is marketing Florida. So people talk about going through the budget line by line. I really did that. Things as small as, instead of buying 8 uniforms for Welcome Center employees, I said, how about 4 polo shirts and they can do laundry once a week? So, those things that are very small, up to, significant reductions in things like sponsorship of events. Because while sponsorship is wonderful, I personally don't believe the return on investment is as strong there as it is for direct marketing like the Adventure Campaign, like the Families Campaign, things that are truly bringing people to the state of Florida. So I have leaned up the organization as much as I possibly can. I'm running it with a very seriousness of purpose. I always seem to come into these jobs when all the fun is gone, right? But it is very rewarding to see that we truly have not had to cut our marketing efforts. We have had to shift priorities, so maybe we're going to be doing, actually not maybe, we are going to be doing way more digital than we were before, less broadcast TV. Things, because that is very, very expensive, and frankly, in this modern age, there's a lot less viewership of that, so we're focusing on digital, social media, fam trips. Nothing better than having a blogger or a journalist come and see for themselves what there is to offer, and we are very particular about who we bring. Like if we're going to be talking about kiteboarding, we're going to bring someone that's like the leading kiteboard guy in Outside Magazine. If we're going to be talking about cuisine, we're going to be bringing people that understand the cuisine and all of those things. So that is a very long answer, but our marketing is largely going to be, you aren't going to be able to tell a difference because that is what we're doing. Leaner staff. I have no administrative support at all. And so if you email me, be patient because I'm doing it all myself. But anyway, that's what we're doing. I think we're going to be just fine.
Russ?
Thank you for what you do, and I've been supportive for many years on it, and here and in Miami with our hotel down there. Take a couple of minutes and talk about the local support that we need to make sure we're focused on between now and Tourism Day for legislators and decision makers that really give us the hope of where Visit Florida is going to go funding-wise and in the future. I think we're very fortunate. Tampa Bay's got some key players in this today that we didn't have the last few years, if you would. Educate us, would you?
Well, yes. I mean, Tampa Bay has got, the current Senate president, the incoming Senate president, Senator Simpson from Pasco County. We have the incoming House Speaker, Chris Sprouse, from right here in Pinellas, and a lot of very, very influential members. I'm sure that you all have relationships with literally all of them, and wonderfully, tourism is a nonpartisan issue. It cuts through party lines, and pretty much most people, the dramatic majority of people support Visit Florida tourism marketing and what we do. So what I would suggest with your question is that you just make sure that your legislative delegation understands the extent to which Visit St. Pete Clearwater partners with Visit Florida and how you partner with us and why that's important. For example, in London at the big World Travel Market, we take down a huge booth, and St. Pete Clearwater and Tampa Bay and others, buy sublet space in that booth. Even Little Crystal River, it's top of mind because I was there yesterday, but they even have a little sliver, but they have a voice on the international stage. And interestingly, 20% of the visitors to Citrus County are international. How about that? And it's because they are marketing their manatee experiences around the globe. It's something unique. So letting them know how you participate and why that adds value would be helpful.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you so very much for being here today, and we appreciate all the efforts that you're doing on our behalf, and appreciate the partnerships and the increase in tourism.
Well, thank you, and thank you for giving me such a generous amount of time to present. And anytime you'd like me to come back, I'm happy to. And thank you for offering to support. Really appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay, department reports are all on file on partners.visitstpeteclearwater.com. And next, we'll hear from Paul Sacco.
Sure. Good morning. So we'll give your snapshot for the month of June, and then talk through some of the year-to-date numbers that we have for you as well. So for June itself, it's been another month of positive growth across the board for rooms sold, your average daily rate, and our RevPAR. Specifically, when you get into the market comparison for your rooms sold, you can see St. Pete Clearwater is in the top 5. When you look through those numbers, those that are in the top 5 are the only ones that are positive for the month. So glad that we're part of that group. When you look at ADR for June, we're number 2 in the state. If we discard Bay County, they're still in their recovery mode, so their numbers continue to be very high, which is positive for them. We're glad to see that. And you also see that the state actually posted a negative 0.2% for the month of June. When you look at RevPAR for the month of June, we are number 1 in the state. Again, if we discount Bay County's storm recovery, and here the state's posting a negative 3.1% for RevPAR for the month of June. So we're starting to see a little bit of mix and a shakeup of what's going on across the state. Year to date, we're looking from January to June. Visit St. Pete Clearwater continues to show steady growth. You can see down the line, 2.5% for rooms sold, 3.7% for our daily rate, and then 7.1% for the RevPAR. When we look at the rooms sold for the year to date, again, we're among the leaders in the state at 2.5%. For ADR, we're number 2. So we continue to track very strong. I really believe we're continuing to see the value of the marketing that's being done across the board, both in digital as well as our traditional marketing. For RevPAR, we're number 1 in the state. There's only 3 counties showing an increase, but we had a very, very good year-to-date numbers that continue to trend. Leroy gave me a statistic that for the last 107 months for tourism development tax, we've seen an increase in 101 of those months. So we continue to track very strong. As I reported last time, we're up. We're tracking, I believe, towards a $60 million year. And you can see that going forward on our last slide. But TDT marketing comparison for June, we're 4.9%. Again, among the leaders in the state. Here, notice that the state decrease is at 5.8% for a year-to-date number. And when you look at tourism development tax from October to June, this is the first time that we're reporting it this way. Oh, I'm sorry, not this slide. We're almost 6% year-to-date, or year over year. And again, we're trending to eclipse a $60 million mark. Next slide, Leroy provided. This is the first time that we've actually been reporting tourist development tax collection statewide. The reporting period here, matches the state's fiscal year, but going in the future, we'll align that to match with the county's fiscal year. So you can see we did eclipse when you look at that fiscal year for the state over the 60 million. We'll continue, I believe that we'll do that for our fiscal year as we march through the end of September. So we're number 2 in the state for collections. We're number 4 in the state by percent. And the state is down and trending a little bit negatively for that same period of time. Still strong numbers. I mean, it's $1 billion. But when you're just looking at the percentages and the composition of some of the counties there that make that up. So that's our snapshot. I'm happy to answer any questions or whatnot that you may have in that world.
That's great news.
Yeah, it's a good time being an interim.
Yeah, it is.
Ride that wave.
Any questions?
Seems like Miami Hialeah at 47 million. There has to be another piece in there somewhere, Paul. Or Miami-Dade.
It's probably Miami-Dade, but I can check
It'd be
that
2
out.
taxing districts, and one's in here and one's not.
Okay.
I can check that
Russ,
out.
is Miami Beach separate from Miami?
Not in the Miami-Dade, but this is Miami Hialeah.
Right, that's why I was questioning that, if that doesn't include the beaches.
Yeah, I think it's over on the other side.
Yeah.
There's another number missing somewhere.
We'll check that out and get that information back to you. Thank you, Russ.
Are they 6 pennies also?
At least. I think they have an extra penny for welfare or something.
Isn't 6% the maximum?
Yeah, but
state
they have
allowance?
an additional tax authority.
Pursuant
they've
to a
had
different
before the-
statute.
Before the statute.
Yeah, that might be an interesting thing to look at, to see if they're all at the 6% or not. I think some of the small counties have different statutory levels. It's when they can implement the tax.
Correct.
Yeah. So, okay, any other questions? All right, great. At this point, any board member comments? Tony?
Yes, if you bear with me for just a minute, this has been brought to my attention by a few hoteliers and a couple of our partners. And Terry, you called this a destination magazine. I call it the Visitor's Guide. So we have two, okay? The larger one is where all the advertisements are in, and then this smaller one takes all the advertisement out. I assume that's why it's the smaller one. The concern that I'm hearing from some of the hoteliers is that this one is starting to show up at trade missions, some trade shows. I know that this is the magazine that's passed out at PI. So the hoteliers are saying, my advertisement's not in here. So I am not trying to put the Visit St. Pete on the spot, but I would like to get a recap as to when does this go versus when does this go? And that would include mailings, trade missions, trade shows. You know, I get the fact that at like Florida Huddle and IPW, most tour operators are going to look at this and go, I'm not taking this back to Europe. If you have something smaller. But the other thing that this leads me to ask is it time for us to look at an electronic version, maybe on a thumbnail, that we could pass out? I know for my experience at Huddle and IPW, I used to take 100 of my sales kits to those shows. I take maybe 20 now, and I come back with 10 because they're saying, do you have an electronic version? And I go, of course I do, so email me the electronic version. So if we could get some feedback, again, on what determines which one goes out, and also the question was, how many of these are published versus these? And then maybe an overall discussion with staff, I don't think it needs to be on this level, as to, is this the best route to go? There's also been some feedback as to maybe this needs to be smaller, so you don't need to publish 2 of these. So that's just some feedback from the industry.
Yeah, I mean, actually, the smaller version could just be maybe a little bit thicker and then have the advertising in it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a concern. This is an expensive publication to advertise in. I certainly get a benefit from it. I get it. But if this is showing up at the airport, I'm not sure this is the one I want being handed out to people getting off a plane.
Right.
Thank you
Okay.
for your time.
Right, thank you, Julie.
I just had 2 questions. A, I just wanted to get an update on the hiring of our new director for,
What's that?
our new director, the hiring,
Recruitment.
the recruitment process.
Oh, yes. We are interviewing finalists on September 30th is what's scheduled. And so we had difficulty finding a mutually acceptable date. And so at this point, I believe we have 3 that we will be interviewing.
Okay. And then my other question was on the governor's conference on tourism that Dana mentioned. Do we have people going?
We'll check into that
For the
and let
governor's
you know.
conference? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Several staff
Is,
go.
is anybody on the board going?
Tony's going.
Okay. I didn't even know about it until she just mentioned.
Yeah, no, I agree. Wasn't aware.
Yeah.
either.
So it'd be good if in the
If anybody else
future
is interested in going
those
to the
kinds
government.
of events.
And then, obviously, Tourism Day will be after I'm chair done being chair, but January 22nd, I think that would be important if we had TDC members and staff going up to that as well.
We need to watch the date of that meeting for our meeting. Usually
Right, I know.
it's the same day. That's
Is it
what-
the same day?
I don't know. I haven't looked, but I bet you.
No, I imagine
Last
it
year
might
it
be.
was.
Yeah, a few years it's been.
Yeah. So we'll make sure that that doesn't conflict either in advance. So, okay, any other comments? Yes.
Yes, just wanted to comment. I was out of country last month for the meeting, and I read over the minutes and the discussion about the Air DNA and the contract that VSPC working with that. So I'm anxious to see an update from Leroy as, you know, that contract proceeds. I think there was mention in here that we look to have some additional input within like the next 2 months. Obviously, being in the vacation rental business, having that tracked, I know I was reading again in the minutes the extensive conversation that you all had. So looking forward to Leroy bringing back the metrics and the information about the Air DNA.
Okay, very good. And I did want to let you all know, we, yesterday at the Board of County Commissioners meeting, we authorized another 3-month extension for BVK. So that contract is now through December 31st of this year. And there's been a committee, I think that's been selected to go through the applicants for the marketing and advertising contract. So we'll keep you apprised on that as well. Okay, so I believe all of us are part of the capital projects next meeting, but before that, I'd like you to meet me outside here in the 5th floor conference room briefly. I have a special presentation to make before we go downstairs to the clerk's office on the 4th floor. And we are adjourned.